Welcome all students of Patipata Central School, Standard 9. Now dear students, this is the second video of this poem Wind by Subramanya Bharti, translated from Tamil by A.K. Ramanujan. Now dear students, in that first video you already know about that's a poet and that's some introductions already. And now in this video we discuss line by line and stanza by stanza of this poem. Okay, now dear students, so this is a wind poem, has been composed by Subramanya Bharti. Okay, let's start. Wind, come softly, don't break the shutters of the windows, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. There, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You bowed to rain again. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Dear students, in this stanza, that's a poking fun. That means making fun of something fun. And that's a weaklings, that means a person who is very weak. Weak, that's not only for physically, that's mentally also. So dear students, in this stanza, the poet is talking to the wind. He asks the wind to come softly. So he is saying that the wind should not be very strong, loud. It should be soft and subtle. There he says that the wind is very powerful, it is destructive. It breaks the shutters of windows and scatters the papers in the room. When the wind is very powerful, all the books which are kept on the shelf fall down very easily. So here the poet is describing the power of the wind. In this stanza, he says to the wind to look at the destruction that it had done. Whenever there is a strong wind, all things that are weak, like small plants, tiny children, etc., they all get scattered and they can even fall and get hurt. We can say that in the initial part of this poem, the poet is referring to the wind as a young child. He is saying that it should come softly, just like a small child does. In the later part, we come to know that the wind is destructive, just like a youth, just like a young boy or a young girl who is full of energy, violence, and distractions. So, in this stanza, so he tore the pages of the books, you bowed, train again. Okay, and that's in next stanza you find out frail crumblings, frail crumblings, houses crumbling, doors crumbling, rafters crumbling, woods crumbling, bodies crumbling, lives crumbling, hearts. Crumbling means falling out to cows. Okay, cows something to break. And rafter, sloping beam, will support the roof of the buildings. Now you remember it, rafter and the crumblings. Okay, dear students, in this stanza, here crumbling is repeated so many times. Crumbling woods, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts, so many times. That's what is repeated. Uh, to lay stress that everything crumbles in the face of a strong wind. So the writer is saying that when wind is very powerful, it is very strong. It leads to breakage of everything. Houses which are weak fall, doors which are weak fall, the beams on which the roof of the buildings are supported, they also fall. All the wooden structures fall. All bodies of people fall. Animals, lives, hurts. So he is saying in this stanza that everything crumbles. Everything that is weak reacts by falling down and breaking in the face of adversity. So the poet is saying that whenever a weak person faces any adversity or challenges in the life, he breaks down and falls. So crumbling woods, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts, each and everything is crumbling. Okay, the wind God winnows and crushes them all. You know, winnows? In that village, you find out to block the grain free of chaff. In that village, uh, some woman to uh, to block grain free from chaff and separated grain from husks. Okay, that is known as winnowing. So the wind God winnows and crushes them all. So the poet is addressing to the wind as a wind god. In this line, you find out the poet is addressing the wind as wind god, and he is saying that the powerful god of wind winnows, that means the shift all the people, and those people who are weak fall down and get crushed. So here are comparisons is made between the wheat and pepper, just like we know the wheat to separate the grain from chaff. The wind god separates the strong people from the weak people. When there is a strong wind, all things that are weak fall and get crushed. So whenever you are physically strong, then no anybody have power to crush them. But whenever you are weak, then easily that anything uh, crush you. Okay, dear students, and in that next stanza you find out he won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build a strong homes. Let's join the doors firmly. Practice to form the body. Make the heart steadfast. Do this, and the wind will be friend with us. So steadfast form. That's strong. So in this stanza, the poet wants to make friends with the wind. Yeah, the adversities in our lives, he says that the problems will not listen to us, they will come. They will come. So we should be prepared. In preparations, we should build a strong homes and close the doors of our house firmly so that the wind cannot get into. And then he says that we should also make our bodies strong and hearts firm to face these challenges. And then once we are strong enough, all the challenges will be like friends. We will not feel that they are troublesome. So do this, and the wind will be friend with us. Yeah, whenever we are strong, then that's strong wind also uh, will be friend with us. Okay, dear friends. So this is very inspirable poem, very inspirable poem. Okay, here the wind blows out weak fires. He makes a strong fires roar and flourishing. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. Flourishing, that means grow. Yeah, that's a flourishing, the flower grow. So in that last stanza of this poem, the poet has kept the wind um, on a pedestal. He is comparing the wind to God. In the last ninja, the poet comparing the wind to the God. He is comparing the wind to the God. He says that wind is God and we praise wind every day. We praise wind every day. he adds that that is weak everything that is weak, yeah, gets finished off in the face of the strong wind, and all the things that are strong flourish and grow to become stronger. He is giving us a very important message. Yeah, through this poem, the poet gives us a very important message that we should not feel bad that we are facing so many challenges and adversities in life. So many. We should make ourselves physically and mentally strong to face these challenges. And once we are strong enough, we will overcome the challenges. We will become friends with them, and then we will be happy that we had these challenges in our life because they help us become stronger and better. So the wind, strong wind, that's our friends, so we praise them. uh, so whenever you are physically and mentally strong, then on the time then you enjoy, okay. But whenever you are physically and mentally weak, then you are almost times you are in a problem, okay. I hope that you understand. That's a whole poem, when line by lines, okay, dear friends. And in the last, we know that some rhyming schemes. The entire poem is written in free verse. There is no rhyming scheme in the poem. The literary devices used are as follows. Yeah, anaphora. You know, anaphora, when a word is repeated continuously at the start of the two and more consecutive lines. Yeah, so this type of device is known as anaphora. So whenever you find out line number 2, 3, 4 being with don't, line number 6, 7, 8 being with you, and personification, wind has been personified when the poet says you are here, you are wind. He is referring to wind as you. That means he is treating wind as a person. So whenever we are treat anything, yeah, that's a non-living thing also, as a person. So on that time we call this is a personification. For example, that's the brook. Yeah, the brook, yeah, that's a wind.